So you've lost your period. Or maybe it's been 3 months and you're just realizing now that that is not normal. Whether you're super active, going through stress, got caught up in diet culture, or honestly have no idea what's going on, this video is for you. I know, for the people living in blissful ignorance, losing your period might seem great. No bleeding, no cramps. And I don't mean to scare you, but losing your period can lead to a lot of serious long-term effects on your body, from things like osteoporosis. You're at much greater risk of fractures, infertility, cardiovascular and metabolic risks, sleep issues, and a lot more. So it's vital that you get your regular periods back, even if you don't want kids yet, because it's crucial for your long-term overall health. I've been digging into the scientific studies to figure out the main contributors to period loss. I've listened to over 34 podcasts from experts in the field and chatted to people who have actually been where you are and come out the other side and got their period back. So in this video, as episode 2 of our Strong Girl series, I'm going to break down why you've lost your period, what amenorrhea actually is, the different types, why it happens, how it affects your body, and the main thing you probably want to know, actionable steps on how to get your period back. Lock in girly, take notes, because this series is all about empowering you as a woman to navigate your health and fitness journey as the strong girl you are. These episodes take a lot of planning and research, so it means so much to me if you subscribe, and also that way you won't miss the rest of the series. First of all, as a little disclaimer, I am not a medical professional, I'm a personal trainer. This is not medical advice, so if you have lost your period or you're struggling with irregular periods or anything like that, please go and speak to your doctor, or at least just get checked out. Okay, so the medical word for not having a period is amenorrhea, and there's 2 different types. Primary amenorrhea is when you've not had a period by the age of 16. Secondary amenorrhea is where you've had a period before, but now it's stopped for 3 months or more. Today we're focusing on secondary amenorrhea because this is what most of you girlies have been asking me about, but I'm also planning on doing an episode on primary amenorrhea, so let me know if that'd be helpful as well. Your period isn't just about bleeding once a month, it's about your brain, hormones, and ovaries working together in a feedback loop called the HPO axis. In episode 1, we chatted a bit about the different phases of your cycle, so if you need a refresh, go and check out that video after this one. But the HPO axis goes a little bit deeper into the process itself. I'm gonna try and keep this as simple as possible, so stay with me. But I just find that having that little bit of a deeper understanding of what's actually physically going on inside your body can be super helpful. So first we start in the hypothalamus. This is a part of your brain that kicks things off by releasing a hormone called GnRH. The name doesn't really matter. Think of it as a little messenger that tells the pituitary gland that it's time to get things moving. Once the pituitary gland gets that signal, it sends out 2 key hormones, FSH and LH. These stimulate the growth of follicles in the ovaries, which are essentially these fluid-filled sacs that each have one immature egg inside them. So those start growing in the ovaries, and FSH and LH trigger the release of estrogen and progesterone. These 2 hormones are super important for ovulation and preparing your body for a possible pregnancy. Here's where it gets really cool, because estrogen and progesterone don't just do their job and leave. They actually send signals back to your brain to adjust the different hormone levels, just like turning the volume up and down. This feedback loop keeps everything in balance and helps regulate your cycle from month to month. Increasing estrogen levels eventually trigger a rapid increase in LH, and this LH surge is what causes the mature egg to be released from the ovary into the fallopian tube, marking the process of ovulation. After ovulation, progesterone rises, and if you're not pregnant, progesterone decreases and your period starts. If any part of this loop is disrupted, then your period can go MIA. So it can be quite hard to figure out exactly where things are a bit off in your cycle, but in a podcast by fertility doctor Natalie Crawford, she outlined that there are 4 main causes of amenorrhea, and each of them affect a different part of the cycle. I'll pop them on screen now for you to screenshot and come back to, but today, although you shouldn't rule out the other 3 causes, we're gonna zone in and chat about hypothalamic amenorrhea, as it's the most common cause of period loss, especially in active women, and also the one you can take most action on through your training and nutrition. We're also going to abbreviate it to HA because hypothalamic amenorrhea is a mouthful and a half. HA happens when your brain senses you're in a state of low energy availability. I know this is hard to hear if you love training hard and eating clean, but if you've lost your cycle, that is your body telling you that your perfect approach to staying fit is actually far from ideal for you and your body. In HA, your hypothalamus stops releasing GnRH, which leads to no FSH, which leads to no estrogen, which means no period. And the crazy part is your body thinks it's protecting you, but long term it can damage your bones, your hormones, and fertility. This is an important caveat because sometimes when you go to the doctor with HA, you can be misdiagnosed with PCOS. I feel like PCOS is becoming much more widely talked about online, but if you want another episode on that, just let me know. But the thing is, a lot of PCOS advice is the complete opposite to what you want to do if you have HA, which you can probably guess is gonna mess things up even more for you pretty quickly. One factor that often plays a role in that misdiagnosis, which really shouldn't, is your weight. Even though being underweight is linked to HA, just because you're skinny doesn't mean you don't have PCOS. And the opposite is also true. If your BMI seems fine and you're a healthy weight for your height, then you still might have HA. It doesn't automatically mean that you have PCOS. Often people who are underweight are just told get to this certain weight and you'll be fine, but there is so much more to it than that because we are all so different. So it's important not to be solely fixed on getting to a certain weight number and instead focus on getting to a weight and body fat percentage that your body actually wants to be at. And you'll know where that point is because you'll have regular cycles again. However, weight loss, especially if you've lost your period within that time frame, can more often indicate HA because you've essentially been underfueling. So now your body's in a state of low energy availability. So misdiagnosis is just one thing to keep in the back of your mind, but if you do have HA, the fastest way to get your period back is a method discussed in the book No Period Now What by Nicola Rinaldi. Said that right? And it's called the All-In Method. It is a really comprehensive book around periods, cycles, amenorrhea, all of that. So if you want to dive more into it, then I'll put the Amazon link in the description for you. But the first part of the All-In Method is you're going to eat all food groups: carbs, fats, protein, meat, fish, dairy. Nothing is excluded unless you genuinely have allergies or intolerances that you need to be careful of. Second, the book says eat a minimum of 2,500 calories per day. A couple of different studies came to this number, but one of them put a whole bunch of people in a special room called a whole room calorimeter. And basically this just estimated how many calories they were burning each day, measuring the gases that came out and things like that. But obviously everyone is so different, so use 2,500 calories as your guideline. If you're a bit shorter, you might need a few fewer calories, and if you're taller, you might need a few more calories, but typically you want to stay around the 2,500 mark minimum. So if you're currently eating 18,000 calories hoping that will be enough to get your period back, it probably won't be. And I know some of you are looking at me like, girl, 2,500 calories every single day. I could never. So if that's you, I really want you to take some time to think about why the thought of eating more so that your body functions properly bothers you so much. Because that is a sign that there might be something a little bit deeper going on with your mindset towards food in your body. And to put it bluntly, you need to be okay with your body changing on this period recovery journey. Yeah, it might feel weird, yeah, it might feel intimidating, but you are beautiful every step of the way back to regaining your health, and you need to remember that. It's also completely okay and even good if you gain some amount of body fat along with the muscle you're gaining on this journey as well, as your body fat actually produces hormones that your brain recognizes and feeds back into that loop. So you need to be at a body fat percentage that your body considers safe in, and this will differ from person to person. The third part of going all in is cut out high intensity exercise, so anything where you're getting super out of breath or just where you're really exerting yourself. High intensity exercise increases cortisol and other stress related hormones, which suppresses the hypothalamus, pituitary, and ovaries. So it's impacting multiple parts of the feedback loop we talked about earlier, which makes it much harder for you to get your period back. If you're an athlete or can't cut it out completely, then you want to minimize it as much as possible and really start prioritizing your rest and recovery. Weight training tends to be one of the safer options to continue with, but you might want to look at reducing the intensity of your gym sessions as well. But how long is this going to take? Because we want our period back yesterday. Well, when you go all in, like the book suggests, the median time that women got their period back was 3 months. Some people might take longer, some people might take less time, but that was kind of the middle ground. So taking everything we've gone over so far, here's some actionable next steps that you can take to finally get your period back. If it's been more than 3 months since your last period, don't guess what caused it. Go and get checked out. That is obviously the first step you should take, and Dr. Crawford actually recommends asking your doctor to look over these things. So getting those tests done will give your doctor and you a bit of a better idea of what's actually going on. If it turns out you've got HA, here's a few steps you can try. Number 1, increase your daily calories to 2,500. You can choose to do this straight away, or you can do it by adding 300 or so calories every few weeks. This is pretty much the exact strategy that I talk about a lot on my channel called lean bulking. It's what I'm still doing now to gain weight and build muscle, so if you want to learn more about that, I've got a whole playlist, I'll link it above. If you're someone who tends to get too focused on the numbers, you don't have to track your calories every single day. What I'd recommend though is track your calories for the first week or so to make sure you're hitting 2,500 every single day. And that's going to help you sort of calibrate how much you actually need to be eating, and then just keep eating in a similar way. Along a similar line with the whole numbers thing, I'd recommend that you stop weighing yourself. Your weight literally doesn't tell you anything useful in this situation, so stopping fixating over that number is actually going to be beneficial in reducing stress, which is what we want. Number 2 is get rid of high intensity exercise. If you can't get rid of it, limit it. Girl, I know how hard it can be to start working out less, especially if you just naturally love being active and are an active person. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you have to stop exercising completely, because to be totally honest, if someone told that to me, I would just not listen to them, because exercise comes with a whole load of other benefits for both your physical and mental health, so cutting it out completely is just unrealistic. However, from the people I've spoken to and the experts in the podcast I've listened to, along with the studies they've mentioned, it seems that women who are really into running find it a lot harder to get their period back without cutting out running. So if running's your thing, since you're going on this journey to get your period back, I'd recommend switching it to walking or a low impact activity like swimming. Try and figure out exactly what it is about running that you enjoy most. Is it being outside in the fresh air? Is it being able to listen to music or something like that? Because you can do that exact same thing just walking instead. That's going to reduce the intensity, but you're still going to get the aspects you enjoy, and it's still going to benefit your mental and physical health. If you're a gym girly like me, still go to the gym 1 to 4 times a week depending on what you're used to. Probably don't go for your 1 rep maxes or anything like that, and you might also want to think about shortening your workouts by getting rid of a few exercises, a few sets or something like that. If you're open to training fewer days a week, that would probably benefit you as well. Step 3 is really just some more specific points that you want to make sure you're taking into account in terms of your nutrition routine. First of all, never skip breakfast and never train fasted. You need to make sure that you're getting enough calories and carbohydrates around your workout so that your body knows that it's got enough energy available. And I don't just mean if you feel like you've got energy to work out, then it's fine. Because for example, if you train in the morning but you've only had a small breakfast, then by the end of your workout, you will have burned through those calories, putting yourself back into a calorie deficit for the day, and potentially pushing you back into that state of low energy availability. So you want to make sure that you're fueling up well for your workouts beforehand, and then as soon as you're finished that workout, get in your carbs, your protein and your fats. Bonus points if you take something with you to the gym. So many women are going on low carb diets because some influencer told them it's the best way to lose fat. But carbs are actually really important for us as women for hormone balance, to regulate your cycle, and also improve physical and mental performance. So we're going to stop fearing carbs, we're going to stop labeling foods as good or bad, and we're going to focus on getting all of the different food groups into our diet. Step 4 is learn to manage your stress. Look, I know this is a lot easier said than done, and there are so many stressful situations that we just don't have control over, and that is okay. Journal about it if you need to, chat to someone you trust, pray about it, spend more time reading your faith book and seeking guidance from God if you're a believer. I would be lying to you if I told you that this journey was going to be easy. It's probably not, especially if you kind of tied your identity to being the fit girl, the sporty girl, or the girl who doesn't really eat that much. And also one thing to look out for at the beginning of recovery that a lot of women experience is extreme hunger. I know it sounds dramatic, but hear me out. As your body's been underfueled for such a long time, a lot of women experience this extreme hunger because it's kind of like their body's trying to compensate, and it's just saying, give me food. And then when these women find that they're wanting and needing to eat a lot more, one thing that comes up is this sense of shame, because the conversation around binging is really big in society, and that can sort of be pressed on women in this situation. But in recovery, it's not actually binging. It's literally your body's response to what it's gone through, and it actually needs those calories to get your cycle going again. So I just wanted to mention that in case it's something that you do experience, but it's really nothing to worry about. I know there's a lot of negative connotations that society puts on eating more or the way you look, and the best thing you can do in this stage is just ride that wave. Having a body that functions the way it should is so empowering. Knowing what you're doing with your training and nutrition is keeping you truly healthy, and understanding that many of these diet and exercise rules aren't right for everyone. You want to incorporate exercise into your life without it being your life. The same goes for food. And everybody's different. Some people recover their cycle naturally, others need more medical help. But knowing what's actually going on stops you spinning your wheels and allows you to approach your period recovery with the right strategy. I wish more people talked about how missing your period is not normal, because I get it. It's not a hot topic and most people just kind of get on with it. But whether it's from stress, overtraining, or something deeper, your cycle is your superpower. It's one of the things that makes you unique as a woman, and getting it back might take work, but is vital and absolutely worth it. So I really hope you found this video helpful. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you want to see in the rest of this series. Next week I'm probably going to do one on primary amenorrhea, so if you've never had a period, but if you've gone through losing your period and got it back, or you're in the process right now, I want to hear from you. Like, drop a comment with your story, because I'm sure it's going to be really encouraging to anyone else reading the comments. If you missed the first episode of the series, it was all about cycle syncing. You can check it out here next. Love you so much, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you over there. Bye!